Listening Point 30. Temple of Venus and Roma. The Temple of Venus and Roma is a grandiose building which occupies the whole space between the Basilica of Maxentius and the Valley of the Colosseum. It was built under Hadrian and was probably inaugurated in 135 AD and completed by Hadrian's successor Antoninus Pius. Having been damaged in the 283 AD fire, it was restored by Maxentius in 307. Its monumental remains testify that this building was one of the greatest religious places in ancient Rome. It had the form of a two-fronted temple, with the cellars oriented in opposite directions but joined by a continuous wall. The one facing west towards the Roman Forum was dedicated to Roma, while the one facing east towards the Colosseum was dedicated to the goddess Venus. You can see in front of you the point where the semicircular apses of the two cellars join. The temple occupied the central part of an artificial base and was flanked on the long sides by two double colonnades, some of whose surviving grey granite columns you can observe on your right. Nothing, however, remains of the double row of 22 columns on the long sides and of the 10 on the short sides, which surrounded the whole building. Now you are standing in front of the apse of the eastern cellar of the temple, the one where the statue of Venus used to be. It is decorated with a coffered ceiling, originally embellished with stucco work and gold leaf, some slight traces of which remain. On the right you can see what remains of the row of columns along the north side of the temple. The temple was built at the behest of the Emperor Hadrian, in the area previously occupied by the atrium of the Domus Aurea, the Golden House, the grandiose villa built by Nero after the devastating fire of Rome in 64 AD. In the atrium of Nero's villa there was a huge gilded bronze statue, over 35 meters tall, the Colossus Neronis. Before the building of the temple, the statue was moved closer to the Colosseum. It was dragged there by 24 elephants, which gives an idea of the weight and size of the sculpture. The architect of the temple was Hadrian himself, and his project was openly criticized by the imperial architect Apollodorus of Damascus, who paid for his insolence with his life. Behind you is a fine view over the valley of the Colosseum. The amphitheatre was built by the emperors of the Flavian dynasty between 70 and 81 AD. They drain the Stagnum Neronis, the large lake surrounded by a double colonnade which Nero had built in this area. On the right you can admire an imposing triumphal arch. It is the Arch of Constantine, inaugurated in 315 AD to celebrate his victory over Maxentius in the Battle of the Milvian Bridge. Some circular foundations have been found between the Arch of Constantine and the Colosseum. These belong to the so-called Meta Sudans, the fountain built by the Emperor Titus at the crossover point of various Roman regions, the districts into which the ancient town was divided. The remains of this fountain survived up to the 1930s, when they were destroyed to build the Via dell'Impero for Benito Mussolini.